5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Madam Secretary, thank you for being here. Thank you for your leadership. Please thank the men and women that serve under you for the incredible job that they do. I want to particularly thank you for enforcing the law, something that we did not see under the previous administration. In the short time that you have been serving as Secretary, we have seen a dramatic decrease, as much as 95% along our southern border. And I also want to thank you for locating the 5,000 plus missing children that just in 3 months you and your agency have been able to find, and in some cases possibly rescue them from what could have been very dangerous situations. Echo what Congressman Higgins talked about a minute ago. The law has not changed since you have become Secretary. The budget has not changed since you've become Secretary. The resources that you have, the number of agents have not changed since you've become Secretary. But yet we have seen a dramatic decrease in the number of border crossings because you and the men and women who serve under you have chosen to enforce the law. I want to push back a little bit on some of the narratives that are being put out by my colleagues on the other side of the aisle. First is the allegations, the reckless allegations, which are completely false and untrue, that you and your agency are deporting American citizens. And I heard you try to answer that question. I don't know if you were able to get that answer out there. And so I want to give you that opportunity. But as I understand the situation, we were deporting an illegal alien who was a parent, and that parent then decided to make the decision to take their children with them. And so I don't know if my friends on the other side of the aisle would ask that we separate those and say, no, those parents cannot do that the federal government knows better, and that these children are going to have to stay in the United States. Or maybe they believe that a parent who is an illegal that has a child, therefore is going to be allowed to remain here indefinitely, regardless of whether or not there's a final order removal, regardless of whether there are any criminal charges or anything pending against those individuals. And so in the instances that have been brought up, Madam Secretary, where there have been allegations that you or your agency has removed American citizens, I just want to give you a brief opportunity to address that. Is that true? And if it's not true, please tell us and please share with this committee the truth behind those situations.
Congressman, the children that were referenced previously in the testimony of the gentleman, in both of those cases, the mothers chose to keep their children with them when they returned home to their home country. That is a priority of President Trump, to keep families unified. We have instances where mothers from other countries have decided that their children should stay here in the United States and left them with family members or someone else that they trusted. But these two mothers that they were referencing earlier decided to take their children home with them and wanted to return to their home countries as a family.
And so we are giving the parents the choice, and then we are
Correct.
honoring whatever their request. Is that what I understand from you, Madam Secretary?
That is correct, sir.
All right, and then want to talk about one more issue in the last minute and a half that I have, this issue of due process. Where you were asked earlier, are we giving individuals due process? And you talked about the fact that we are complying with the law that Congress has given the department. And I think specifically, and tell me if I'm wrong, I think you're talking about the Illegal Immigration Reform and Immigration Responsibility Act of 1996 that created this process known as expedited removal. And we know that law in 1996, that it passed Congress overwhelmingly at both the House and the Senate. I will tell you that I see here a comment that was made by that time President Clinton, and this is what President Clinton said about that law. It said, President Clinton asserted that the legislation strengthened the rule of law by cracking down on illegal immigration at the border, in the workplace, and in the criminal justice system without punishing those living in the United States legally. And so as I understand it, as it relates to the issue of due process, you are following the law as Congress gave you almost 30 years ago. And this Illegal Immigration Reform and Immigration Responsibility Act has been upheld repeatedly over the last 30 years by the court. You're enforcing final orders of removal. And so, Madam Secretary, in the last 10 seconds that I have, are you following the law, and are you giving these individuals the due process that you are required to give them?
Yes, Congressman, we are using the due process tools that Congress has afforded us in these instances to ensure that everyone is treated the same and appropriately.
Thank you, and Mr. Chairman, I yield back.